Now, ladies and gentlemen, sorry, if I could have your attention. I didn't want to put Ed under any pressure while he was hobbling in on his new appendages, but I'm delighted now to welcome you all to the 5th annual KPC Group Cricket Ireland Awards lunch here in Thomas Prior Hall. I'm delighted to be here to host this event, which celebrates this year's cricketing achievements from the international stage to grassroots level. I was privileged enough to be here last year, but to be honest, I was here as something of a fraud. I have a love of cricket as a watcher. I thoroughly enjoy the people and the community that surrounds it, and I have had lunch in the long room at Lord's, but I had never actually picked up a bat or a ball in anger. This summer, in advance of being kindly asked back to do this, I set that to rights, and I made my, I'm not sure if it's first class, maybe about 27th class, cricket debut for Dorky Cavaliers on the illustrious pitch at St Andrew's College. And I asked if I could borrow a pair of cricket white trousers and was told no, but I know exactly where you can go to buy them. So I'm now the proud owner of a pair of cricket white trousers. Haven't found any alternative use for them yet, so my career might still be extended a little. I made my debut for the Dorky Cavaliers. My captain was very optimistic first, having seen me doing a little bit of hurling, and he put me in at number 3. And then when I arrived, he said, "So did you get in much nets practice?" And I looked at him and I said, "No." So I went down to number 5, and then one of his colleagues came along and he asked me, "So have you played much cricket?" And I said, "No, not at all, actually." So I dropped down to number 7, which was the lowest order of those who could walk unaided onto the pitch. But in a fleeting, I guarantee you, fleeting moment of sporting glory, I managed to hit a 4 off my first ball, 2 quick singles, another 4, and ended up on the princely total of 15 runs for my first debut appearance. I was bidding to be retired, having reached 20, which in true Taverners fashion is the accepted norm, and went for a majestic 6 down to long off, but was greeted by a 6'8" flying dervish who took it down out of the air and ended my dreams of glory. I'm not sure, the TV cameras weren't there, so I'm not sure if that's an absolute retelling of the story, but about 15 runs, I am now retiring from 27th class cricket, and my stats will be right up there, maybe if not quite alongside Kev and Ed. But it was a pleasure to finally play your wonderful sport, as well as just watch it and talk about it. Now, we are going to present a number of very important awards today, starting off with our Junior Player of the Year, right up to the Men's and Women's International Player of the Year awards. It's brilliant to see so many of you here in the room, and I'd also like to welcome those of you across Ireland and around the world who are watching us online this afternoon as well. I'd particularly like to extend a warm welcome to the members of our valued sports councils, to members of the media, the President of Cricket Ireland, Henry Tighe, who warmly welcomed me here a few moments ago, to Mr. Ross McCollum, and to our much valued sponsors. We are very grateful, eternally grateful for the support that you have. We're also delighted to be joined by our men's head coach, John Bracewell, our women's head coach, Aaron Hamilton, who we'll be having a few words with later, captain of the men's team, William Porterfield, as well as some of our leading international players. But before we begin our lunch, we're just going to hear a few words from undoubtedly my favourite chief executive of any sporting organisation in Ireland, and it is a great privilege to welcome somebody who is representing Ireland on a world stage and representing your sport so wonderfully well at the managerial level, the CEO of Cricket Ireland, Warren Dewtram.
Rob, thank you very much indeed. Let me scratch your back now, I should say. Ladies and gentlemen, that Rob, in addition to his duties as sometime host for our awards and for strategic plan launches, is also the founder of Sport for Business website, which last night at the Federation of Irish Sports Annual Awards, won the Best Emerging Sports Business Award. So I think that deserves a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. President, Mr. Chairman, Kieran Mulvey, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as Rob has said, both in the audience and watching online. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the 5th Annual Cricket Ireland Awards Ceremony. Thank you for coming along today and joining the cricket family to mark another year in our sport. Usually, ladies and gentlemen, this speech starts by proudly trumpeting the successes of our men's senior team and how we have bathed in the light of the resulting publicity. Therefore, to gloss over a less stellar year might be seen as a little disingenuous. So let me tackle it head on. If this time last year we were adding the name Nelson to Bangalore and Sabina Park in the pantheon of place names writ large in our Men's Hall of Fame, it's fair to say we might struggle to engrave any new additions in 2016. While I personally believe our systems, processes, and people are improving all the time, they ultimately take second place to a desired outcome. And that is not just to learn while we fail, but of course to succeed and be better. I'm reminded of an episode of my favourite programme, The West Wing, in which Chief of Staff Leo McGarry tells the President that a new missile system is succeeding against most of its KPIs as a model of innovation, military cooperation, and cost effectiveness. Yes, says the President, but when we fired the damn thing, it missed the target by 85 miles. The point, ladies and gentlemen, is not to miss the point. So let me reassure you now, in our own State of the Union, that we haven't taken our eye off the ball, that our aim isn't just to do things right, it's to do the right things. And the honesty starts by saying that it has been a tough year, and sometimes we haven't been good enough on and off the pitch. And make no mistake, we're in this together. It's not just players and coaches over there and staff and board over here. We win together and we lose together. At all levels of Cricket Ireland, from juniors to seniors, men to women, cricketers to officials, players to administrators, we're about looking at ourselves in the mirror, distinguishing explanations from excuses, and trying to be better. And in this current period, when we aren't shouting about results from the rooftops, we know it's even more important to be honest. A performance environment can be a pretty unforgiving place. If you think I'm being frank, the players and athletes among you, past and present, will know that my honesty pales by comparison to the candour of a dressing room or of a team meeting or a gathering of the performance staff. In those places, honesty is the only currency, sometimes brutally so. Just as we believe victory against the world's best is no longer an upset, but rather down to talent, channeled through hard work and self-belief, so we try and understand whether defeat means we have fallen short of our own high standards. So, having done the honesty piece, allow me instead to look at a glass half full and offer some reflections that have an alternative take on this tough year. I'll let you judge whether they are an excuse or an explanation. First, it wasn't long ago that our youngsters found their feet in international cricket against other associates, on windswept fields, learning to win in front of just family and friends. Now, they're being blooded against the world's best teams in front of thousands of spectators in the glare of television. Second, why have there been so many one-sided scores batting second this year? Could it be because we choose to pursue victory believing we can still win, rather than just batting out the overs simply to improve our score? Third, our selectors haven't chosen from a full hand all year. In fact, against the top two teams in the world in South Africa, we were without Ed Joyce, Niall O'Brien, Boyd Rankin, and Andy Balbirnie, a third of our first-choice team. Like all human beings, this team is also learning. I think it's notable that this winter will be the first time in my 10 years that the squad has had 4 months of purposeful practice and headspace, rather than running on a treadmill of I-Cups, World Cups, or qualifiers. Might it be fairer to judge the progress of this transitional team in 12 months' time, when we finished the I-Cup, or perhaps when they will have played ODIs against Afghanistan, Bangladesh, and West Indies, teams closer in ranking to us than Australia, South Africa, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka? You might even allow me to push my luck a little. How about the fact we have maximum points from the I-Cup after 4 rounds, or that Barry McCarthy has the best strike rate among the top 15 ODI wicket takers in the world this year? Or, in our only ODIs against associates, albeit one higher than us in the rankings, we shared the series 2-2. At the very least, this shows our men still know what winning matches feels like. Spin? Well, I'll let you decide. It's important to stress that these are my observations, not those of the squad. You won't hear them blindly take the positives, make excuses, or ignore the obvious. And let's face it, no amount of spin can put a gloss on losing to Oman. They do, however, analyse performance, place defeats in context, and focus on the future, one in which we are all determined to restore winning ways. However, it is emphatically not an exercise in spin to laud our women cricketers this year. In beating South Africa in both white ball formats and Bangladesh in a T20I, the feeling is that our senior squad is on the verge of the same exciting breakthrough our men made in the last decade. You only have to look at the age profile of this talented squad, their passion and enthusiasm, and the fact their skills are now sought down under in the off-season, to get genuinely excited for the future. I say this not just as a CEO watching a national team perform well, but as one watching a group of young people, discovering how good they really are and just what they might achieve together in the future. We wish Aaron and Laura, Harry and Brains, Google it, and the whole team our very best wishes in the World Cup qualifier in Sri Lanka in February. And you know, this matters not just because of some politically correct nod to an equality agenda, but because it's the right thing to do. The cricket world is rightly growing up in its recognition of the women's game, as ICC deciding to separate the men's and women's World T20 events show. And it's a responsibility we share, as I hope our substantial programme of international matches in support of the Toyota Women's Super Threes shows. Raising our sights to the big picture, it's also right that any judgment on elevating nations to the top table of the world game should involve broader criteria than simply how your men perform in ODIs. Think back to the 2007 World Cup. The first World T20 hadn't taken place. There was no pathway to Test cricket, and the women's game struggled for oxygen. All our energies were focused on men's ODI cricket. 10 years on, and we now prepare on 5 fronts, 3 men's and 2 women's formats. ICC and the full member nations want us to be competitive on the field, mature and well-governed off it, and capable of making an economic contribution to the game through more fans, viewers, digital engagers, and consumers. They don't want another drain on resources. Having struggled for so many years to attract fixtures, to fight for resources, to be forced into taking big risks, and to advocate for meritocracy, to have to advocate for meritocracy, I believe we're making our arguments heard, and the game is at last listening. Just consider some of the developments of the last 18 months. We've been elevated into the top tier of ODI nations. We played 11 ODIs in 2016. So far, we've got 12 arranged for 2017. We've been given $500,000 by ICC in 16 and 17 to support our growing programme. Our chairman, Ross McCollum, became our first ever appointee to the ICC board. We shall play our first ever ODIs on English soil at May, including at Lord's. And the Hanley Energy Interpro has just become the first ever non-test nation domestic competition approved for first-class status. At the same time, discussions around context for international cricket through leagues in all formats have the potential to be transformational for the game as a whole and for Ireland. Until now, our entire business model has balanced on total uncertainties. Will we qualify for major events? If we get there, how will we perform? If we do, will we generate profile in the media? If we do, can we attract more fans and kids and funders? Or will we just fall back into anonymity between World Cups? Now, imagine a scenario where the lottery of event qualification is no longer our be-all and end-all, where we're enjoying a diet of regular international fixtures in all formats on a structured basis against the world's best teams, in front of full houses at Irish venues and overseas, followed in Ireland and overseas on linear and digital media, generating revenue that feeds all levels of the game. This scenario is no longer the pipe dream it once was. And if the game embraces these possibilities, how are we planning to be ready? Well, we do, as we always do, and we prepare to be worthy of the call. Launched earlier this year, our new strategic plan articulates a vision for the sport in which we look beyond incremental gains. Instead, we aim for Ireland not just to be a major force in cricket, but for cricket to be a major force in Ireland. Ambitious? Of course it is. Impossible? Only if we lack the vision to try. Our game isn't complicated. Boys and girls can play together. There's something for the kids that enjoy hitting things or throwing things or catching things or simply running around or counting things. It's non-contact and it's inclusive. Most of all, it's fun. People who take up cricket stay with it because they love it. It's already deeply embedded in scores of communities up and down our island. And it's our job as Cricket Ireland to help them, to demystify cricket for the uncertain or for the sceptical, to make it as culturally significant as rugby, football, or Gaelic, to nurture it, help it grow both where it has already seeded and where it is yet to flower. And we do that by making it visible, by putting in place pathways for our most talented kids, by making it accessible and affordable, by making it inspiring. In fact, exactly what our clubs have been doing since well before this governing body came along. And our job is to help them by placing clubs at the centre of our focus for grassroots development. And we'll do this by growing the capacity of our provinces, in turn to help our clubs. If you ask me, what is the most important thing we've done in the last 4 years? What's the legacy I hope will endure beyond my time here? It's been the interprovincial competition. First, it was all about the cricket, best versus best domestically, bigger player pool bridge between club and elite. But I believe it has become much more fundamental than that. It's done nothing less than revolutionise our thinking on the role of the provincial unions in Irish cricket. As the Hanley Energy Interpros plug the gap between club and country, so the unions themselves are the real key to us becoming a nation worthy of Test cricket. And as our resources grow, so we can start to invest even more in our grassroots and club structures through the unions. Yes, it's taken a while, but I stand by the decisions we have made. and I believe we've invested in the right priorities to get the game to where it is today. And part of our new set of priorities is addressing the underdeveloped standard of facilities for playing and training at performance and grassroots levels. Earlier this year, we introduced our first ever fund to begin to invest in our clubs, while we also announced the development of a warm weather training facility in La Manga, Spain. In the same vein, I'm delighted to announce today we have approval for the development of our first ever dedicated outdoor training facility in Ireland. It'll be called the Cricket Island Performance Centre, and it will be located at the National Sports Campus in Blanchardstown in West Dublin. I believe this exciting development will genuinely help us transform into the team that our coach, John Bracewell, wishes to shape. One that stays, tours and trains together, rather than prepares purely for one-off games or major events. Second, this wouldn't be possible without the personal support of Kieran Mulvey, the chairman of Sport Ireland, and John Tracy, the chief executive. And of course, continued investment from the International Cricket Council, as well as our great friend, Dennis O'Brien, all of whom our press release will recognise more fulsomely than time now permits. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, Irish cricket is richer in scope and has greater depth than at any time in its modern history. More than 52,000 people, men and women, boys and girls, able-bodied, disabled, Irish and non-Irish, play our game from Limavady to Limerick, Laois to Lurgan. It's that breadth and that diversity, that pride in club, province and nation that we celebrate today. Culture change takes time, but if you need evidence that our so-called elitist, middle-class, English, garrison sport, name your cliché, is becoming more, well, Irish, then all you need to do is to see the thousands of fans that turn up to our big games or play on parks and schools and clubs across this island, or travel overseas to our tournaments, or follow us on social media, or invest in us to be better, or simply take pride in our success. And speaking of investment, our success is also due to the magnificent support we receive from funding partners that drive us to punch above our weight on the world stage, including those generously supporting awards today, and I'm going to name all of them. The KPC Group, Hanley Energy, Shapoorji Pallonji Group, Toyota, Tildenet, O'Neill's, Not Sport, the Sunday Independent, Flowgas, Gibney's, the Irish Aviation Authority, and Oasis Group. I mean our government partners, Sport Ireland and Sport NI, who do so much for our programmes and professionalism. I'd also like to pay tribute to the board of Cricket Ireland for their hard work and wisdom, to the chairman of the board, Ross McCollum. It would be difficult to find anyone in Irish sport wiser, fairer, or more passionate. And finally, to my own hard-working staff, who are dedicated and do so much unheralded work behind the scenes to transform us into the governing body we aspire to be. Whatever we do, there is reason to be proud of Irish cricket today. That our sport achieves so much on an annual basis is testament to massive endeavour at all levels, exemplified by today's winners and nominees, to whom we send our deepest congratulations. I've only mentioned headlines, but today it's right we recognise and reward all those that have lit up Irish cricket this year, both sung and unsung, all of whom will be delighted to hear they can relive the moment in the Sunday Independent this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it from me. Enjoy your lunch, enjoy your afternoon, and thanks once again for joining us. Thank you.
Many thanks, Warren. Who imagined 12 months ago Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to those watching online and welcome to the main part of proceedings, the 5th Annual KPC Cricket Ireland Awards. I hope you've enjoyed your delicious lunch. Special word of thanks to all of the staff here at Thomas Prior Hall for the great service. Just to explain how proceedings are going to work today, we're going to call up each of the presenters, followed by the winner, who'll then receive the award, have a quick chat with me with the microphones, which I know I'm going to have in my hand by the time I come to present my first award, and then I'll ask both the presenter and the recipient to just head down towards this corner where the official photography is going to take place. So just before we get underway with the awards, personally, I'd just like to say congratulations to everyone who has been nominated for an award today. It's a reflection of the hard work and the commitment to this great sport of cricket that we have here in Ireland. Now, to kick off proceedings, get things underway, our first award is for the Flowgas Junior Player of the Year Award. To present this award, please welcome Owen O'Flynn from Flowgas. Now, this award was voted on by the Cricket Ireland youth and national underage coaches. This year's winner was a breakout season for this individual. It was evident in the consistency that he showed with his gloves for his club side, Pembroke, in Leinster Division 1, as well as at Hanley Energy Interpro level, with treble winners Leinster Lightning. Those performances earned him his first international cap in the T20I against Hong Kong in Breedy in September. Ladies and gentlemen, give a very warm welcome to this year's Flowgas Junior Player of the Year, Lorcan Tucker. Congratulations, Lorcan. Great year. What were your highlights out of it? What do you remember most about the year that you've just put down?
Definitely the Under-19 World Cup was an amazing experience and probably something I'll never experience again like that in such tough conditions, but yeah, that was definitely the highlight.
Great. And then making your international debut as well, all coming very quickly for you, but well capable of handling the pressure. Do you feel the pressure on us when those things come?
Yeah, you'd be surprised really. You just kind of want to keep it hidden, so on the big stage you don't want to show too much nerves or whatever, but it's a nerve-wracking time, but it's all exciting and there's a lot of things to come hopefully.
That's right, keep those nerves well under control. I'm sure you're probably a little bit nervous up here now, but you're doing great in front of your peers. Where did you go to school?
I went to Closhdown, the Irish school actually, so it's a bit different from most people here.
Indeed, my own kids go there, and I know that it's not a particularly stronghold of cricketing, but you must have played a bit of hurling in your time as well.
Yeah, I did, yeah. Open game cook crowds and everything.
Great stuff. Well, listen, Lorcan, congratulations. I'm sure that we'll see you on this stage again here in years to come, but for now, ladies and gentlemen, Lorcan Tucker, and thank you to Owen from Flowgas for the presentation. Now we move on to the second award of the afternoon, the Shapoorji Pallonji Academy Player of the Year. Now, unfortunately, our friends in Shapoorji Pallonji are unable to attend, so here to present this award, please welcome the Acting National Academy Manager, Pete Johnson. Hello, Pete. This award was voted for by the youth and the academy coaches who were tasked with picking the academy player they feel has really progressed their game over the course of the last 12 months. He came to the fore this year with his pace and control in the Under-19 World Cup in Bangladesh, as well as his performance for Pembroke for Leinster Division 1. A winner also received his first cap at international level this year in that same T20I in Breedy against Hong Kong. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2016 Shapoorji Pallonji Academy Player of the Year is Josh Little. Congratulations, Josh. Well done. Again, breakthrough year for you. Could you have imagined 12 months ago that you might be standing here on the stage with us today?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
And the enjoyment that you get out of playing cricket. When did you actually start? What age were you when you started your career?
I was 10. It was through a schoolmate's dad who recommended me to go down to my local club and give it a go.
Great. And can you remember that first time facing the ball? Can you remember what it was like?
Bit worrying under the lid, but yeah, still learning my way nowadays, but getting there.
Okay, well, playing international for Ireland and making that big breakthrough season, you've got a great future ahead of you. I'm sure that, again, we'll be seeing you back up here again as well. So congratulations. Thanks very much to Pete and to Josh Little. Congratulations. Now, two fine young men. Obviously, the future of the sport is in good hands. Our next award is for the IAA Official of the Year. And here to present this award, please welcome the President of Cricket Ireland, Mr. Henry Tighe. Now, for this award, all members of the Umpires and Scorers body, IACUS, were invited to submit their nominations, and the winner was chosen from these nominations by the Cricket Committee. The three nominees for the IAA Official of the Year are Stella Downs, Alan Neil, and Paul Reynolds. Now, every year, this is one of the toughest categories, and this year was obviously no exception. This year's award goes to an umpire who has been heavily involved at both provincial, national and international level throughout the season. He continues to impress all observers of the game with his professionalism and the quality of his umpiring. In addition, he is the fixture secretary for the LCU, as well as the main LCU website administrator and social media manager. He also sits on Cricket Ireland's match allocation group and works hard sourcing grounds for representative cricket in Leinster. Ladies and gentlemen, we better get him up on stage here quickly before he has to go back to his 27 other jobs. This year's IAA Official of the Year is Paul Reynolds. Congratulations, Paul. Very well done. The umpire's lot is never really an easy one. What are your main memories from this year?
I think that the way that, especially the interprovincial scene is developing for everybody, for players, for grounds, and for umpires and scorers alike, it's the whole way sort of Cricket Ireland have professionalised, all the game is professionalised in, and as umpires, that's quite exciting for us to be involved in as well, and that's probably been the highlight for all of us, the way that's developed.
Okay, and with all of those ancillary roles that we've listed out, that you're in charge of the social media, the website, the weather, the ground, everything else that you would seem to be in total control of, what was it about umpiring that really sort of attracted you? Because you've obviously got a curious mind, and what was it that really brought you into to be the man in the middle?
Umpiring is probably the thing I do for enjoyment, if you like. The rest is something. I suppose all the people here today love cricket. I just end up doing, I don't know, because we all love it, I end up doing a lot of the bits and bobs around, but umpiring is what I enjoy, if you like. That's the main job. I suppose it's nice to be involved. When you're a player, you always want to know what you're going to do when you finish, and I've always enjoyed umpiring, and umpiring was the thing for me, I think. It keeps you involved when you're no longer playing the game.
Well, playing the game probably at the highest level. I'm sure you still don pads every now and again.
Now and again, not too much now.
Great. So that the players that are out there that you're making the calls on, they have an understanding that you know what they're going through, and hopefully that they know what you're going through.
You'd hope so. Yeah, I probably wouldn't ask them too much, but that's what we try and get across.
But there's always a friendly handshake at the end of the game.
Normally, yeah.
Well, we'll set the tone for the rest of the year. Paul, congratulations, very well done. And thank you to Henry as well for the presentation. an umpire to be thanked. It must be an unusual feeling, but well done, Paul. As we all know, volunteers are the lifeblood of cricket, our sport, and every other sport indeed as well. We are hugely grateful for the large number of dedicated volunteers who make cricket happen in Ireland every day, season after season. Our next award is perhaps one of the most important in the lineup, as we recognise the work that is carried out by the volunteers across the country. The Oasis Group Volunteer of the Year Award. This award will be presented now by Barbara Ellis, who will join me up here from the Oasis Group. We asked members of the public to nominate the individual that they believe deserves to win this award, and the response was overwhelming. Chosen by the Cricket Ireland Board and the Provincial Union chairs, the list of nominees is a reflection of the high standard of volunteering in cricket. Those nominees are Mary McMahon from Leinster, Willie Dwyer from the Hills, Herbie Honohan from the Wexford Wanderers, Sean Farrell from Bagnallstown, Lorraine McKeaney from Malahide. And the winner of this award has been instrumental in the growth of youth cricket in Wexford through his coaching efforts, while also playing a vital effort in fundraising for Wexford Wanderers as the club continues to flourish. Not to mention, in his spare time, he helped to lay the new pitch in the club when Wexford got their new ground. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome this year's winner of the Oasis Group Volunteer of the Year Award, Herbie Honohan. We have to get a nice photograph to go up on the Wexford Wanderers website anyway, so that everybody down there will know as well. Congratulations. That award of Volunteer of the Year is the one, perhaps, which, as we said there, is the one that actually rewards those who perhaps receive the least thanks. In terms of your club and your love for the club, sum up what it means to be a volunteer and to be such an integral part of what you love.
Well, it's very humble to be accepting this award, because I know so many people in so many clubs that do the same, if not more work than I do. For me, it's giving something back after playing cricket for many years. I've retired now from work, and I took a decision to give something back. And I did schools program in Wexford, first one that was ever organised. We had loads of people from hurling, Gaelic football tradition, playing cricket for the first time. 95% of them who didn't even know, couldn't name one cricketer, although one did say Ed Joyce, so well done. No idea of cricket. After 8 weeks, we had them playing games of cricket, full games of cricket. And that, to me, to do that in 8 weeks from people who knew nothing about cricket to playing full games of cricket was fantastic.
Great. I've never met a great volunteer that doesn't always deflect the glory onto others who are doing exactly the same as them, but I think it's a measure of you and of volunteering. You're on the front line then of making cricket mainstream, and as Warren said earlier on, it's ambitious, but it's certainly possible within the sort of the orbit of the ambition for Cricket Ireland. It'll be delivered, though, by people like you. Do you believe that cricket is going to take over from, well, actually it could take over from hurling in Wexford, couldn't it?
Well, we have a new manager this year, Fitzgerald is in, so maybe that'll change things. One area I particularly am keen on is for girls cricket in places like Wexford. We have 4 teams probably in the southeast: Wexford, Carlow, Bagnallstown and Gorey. And each group we have about 3 to 4 girls playing up to under 10, under 12s, then we lose them. They've nowhere to go. So one of the things we're trying to get is to get a kind of southeastern team together where they will group together as a team, a southeast team, meet every so often, get to know one another, and the girls can see that there's something to go forward to continue to playing cricket.
That's great. Like so many things in the club, it's actually what you do in reality rather than what you think you're going to do on paper that actually has the best impact. Just in terms of the many roles that you would have within the club, which is the one that makes you excited, and then which is the one that you just wish somebody else would put their hand up for?
Well, to me, working with kids, especially kids, I love taking them from the basics. They've never known nothing about cricket. I hate cricket, it's a boring game, English game, and they're wearing Man United shirts and all that. Taking them from that to going to playing cricket within 8 weeks gives me great satisfaction. And that to me is what it's about.
That's brilliant, and you do it incredibly well. Obviously, this is an award that's nominated by your peers, so people are recognising the work that you do, and even if you feel as though you're representing all of the volunteers up here, this is your moment in the sunlight. So, ladies and gentlemen, Herbie Honohan, thank you very much. And thank you to Barbara as well and the Oasis Group for the sponsorship of that very important award. Now, on to this afternoon's fifth award. I see Kieran has already made the move. It's the O'Neill's Club Player of the Year Award. To present the award, please welcome Kieran Kennedy, the Managing Director of O'Neill's. Now, working from the player statistics from the 2016 season, including the top 20 batting averages, bowling averages, and the top 10 all-rounders, the head coaches of the 3 senior interprovincial sides and the senior men's selectors voted on who should win the Club Player of the Year. It's a hugely competitive category. Again, the shortlist was narrowed down to include Eddie Richardson, John Anderson, and Simi Singh. This year's winner had a superb domestic season and was the leading run scorer for his club, Merion. He scored 775 runs at an average of 86.11. Makes my average look a little bit modest now. His most important contribution was the 109, which helped Merion to win the Bob Kerr Irish Senior Cup against Waringstown in Clontarf in August. For these incredible displays, this year's O'Neill's Club Player of the Year is John Anderson. Congratulations, John. That was a big moment, winning the cup. Can you remember? Was it all crystal clear in your memory, or were you just concentrating on getting to that 109?
Oh no, it was definitely the highlight of the year. We've got to a number of finals over the last few years, and it was about time we won one, so I had to put in a performance, and really happy that we came out on the right side that day.
Great. When you're playing at club level, do you have a sense that the cricket world is watching and taking heed of you, or does it all sort of feel as though it tends to happen at the international level and at the Interpros?
Oh no, it only happens at internationals and Interpros really. No one really. I suppose it was great that the final was streamed, so if anywhere in the world you could have watched it. But yeah, it's really just members of the club that you're trying to make proud, and like if you win the Irish Senior Cup, it's really something that everyone cherishes, and we'll talk about it for a number of years to come. So I suppose when you're playing at the club level, it's just you're playing for your teammates, and you're playing for your club.
You're a young man. I think they'll be talking about it for decades to come, to be honest with you. But it was a heck of a performance. All the concentration this year was obviously on winning that. The league wasn't quite so great.
Yeah, no, the league didn't go too well for us. Obviously, relegation is, it's not great, but we're looking at it as a blessing in disguise. And we've got a number of young players that we can hope to kind of get in the side and give them a chance, and hopefully we bounce straight back. But if it's not the case, they might have a year or 2 years to kind of learn alongside some of the older players, and back to Division 1 where we can put in a challenge for the title.
Excellent. The beauty of sport is the optimism. You've already proven that optimism can win you the big trophies. Your performances this year have been an integral part of that. So, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to John Anderson, and thank you again to Kieran and O'Neill's for their support of this award. Now, the players are obviously the most important part of the setup on a team, but next up is the Not Sport Coach of the Year award. Now, this award is open to coaches of our national teams, unions, clubs and schools right across the country. I'd like to welcome our men's senior coach, John Bracewell, to present this award on behalf of Not Sport. Now, as John knows, the role of a coach is immense. Essentially, they are the glue that holds the team together. They're the individuals tasked with not only ensuring that their teams perform to the best of their ability, but also in providing an environment that encourages not only good play, but excellence. This year's shortlist includes Aaron Hamilton, Chris Thomas, Rob O'Connor, Mark Alford, and Ryan Eagleson. And the winner of this award has been described as someone who gives opportunities to developing players and encourages all players to become the best that they can be. This person has had a huge influence in Leinster Cricket Club's women's setup, leading all 3 teams into respective cup finals. He coached the Ireland under-15 girls side in their first ever appearance in the Malvern College Festival, as well as being lead coach to the victorious Dragons Toyota Super 3s team. In addition to commencing his Level 2 coaching certificate during 2016, he is also one of Ireland's women's national selectors. You are an awful busy lot in cricket. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating Rob O'Connor, the deserved winner of the 2016 Not Sport Coach of the Year. Congratulations, Rob. Very well done. 3 teams to cup finals. I won't ask you to pick a highlight out of that in case they're watching live online or here in the room. But great season. Pick out some of the moments that really sort of stand out in your memory as being the ones that made your heart beat a bit faster.
Sure, yeah. Probably the highlight's got to be the Super 3s, the Dragons winning that. They came together really well as a team. It was really enjoyable. And then I went back to Leinster Cricket Club to coach after a few years away. It's the club I've grown up in and played there all my life, so it was really good to take that on. It was a big challenge with 3 teams. It was a very busy year, but very rewarding.
Great. I coach boys and girls teams, and I always feel that the boys, when they get to about the age 11 or 12, they always know much more than the coach anyway, and girls are more enjoyable to coach because they're actually willing to listen. Do you find that there is something special about bringing the girls teams along to a level that they can really sort of stand proud and be stars within their own remit?
Yeah, sure. So we've got to be careful answering this. Yeah, I do find girls, women I think they might learn a bit faster, they might listen a bit more. And yeah, it's always a challenge though.
Great. And you've put in a great year this year now. What are your hopes? What would enable you to think of 2017 as topping 16? Obviously there's the World Cup on the horizon and the qualifiers. Are you going to be involved?
No, I spend most of my time in the development side of things, so with the underage. So you measure that success by once they're learning and enjoying it. So I hope we go back to Malvern, which was a really good learning experience. And yeah, I'm happy once they're happy and they're learning.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, great coach, Rob O'Connor. Thank you very much. And thank you to John for presenting on behalf of Not Sport. Now, next up, we have the Toyota Super 3s Player of the Year. To present this award, I'd like to ask Steve Tormey, Managing Director with Toyota, to join us on stage. Now, as Rob mentioned earlier, the Toyota Super 3s competition has been extremely important for the development of the women's game in Ireland. It has created a tangible pathway from club to international level, and now we've got more competitive games at domestic level, as well as creating a larger pool of players who can play and advance to the international squad and play on an international stage. This year's Super 3 series saw the Dragons take the title with 4 wins from their 6 games played and obviously some great coaching. This award was voted on by the Super 3 selectors and coaching staff. For her performances with the Typhoons, including an innings of 44 in 29 balls in their T20 win against the eventual champions, the Toyota Super 3's Player of the Year is Emma Richardson. Now, as some of you might be aware, Emma is currently working as Development Officer for Cricket Wellington in New Zealand. So she has sent us a brief video message from sunny Down Under.
Good afternoon, everybody from sunny Wellington, New Zealand. My apologies for not being able to attend the awards today, but I am currently in the final stages of preparation for our domestic competition, which starts in about 3 weeks' time. However, having said that, it was a fantastic surprise, and it was a huge honour to be awarded the Toyota Super 3 Player of the Year for the 2016 tournament. I was very humbled to receive an award for something that I'm just so passionate about and love so much. It was a great opportunity for me to be able to compete in the Toyota Super 3 tournament, and I was very excited when approached by Aaron Hamilton and Suzanne Keneally seeking my interest to compete in the Typhoons alongside my oldest clubmate Amy Keneally. The tournament itself is a fantastic competition, allowing both the current internationals a high platform to compete against each other, but also allows them to pass on their knowledge to the future generation who will one day step into that international role. Something which I hugely attribute to my own personal development coming through the ranks, and even then since moving on over to this side of the globe. Thank you to Toyota for backing the development of such a fantastic competition, and to Cricket Ireland for providing such a progressive and innovative tournament. It really was a fantastic opportunity to compete, and I'm very excited at the prospect of potentially being involved in future years to come. So thank you for the award, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the awards. Thank you.
Well done, Emer. Steve was going to fly down to New Zealand to present it, but he had another engagement this afternoon. So I'm going to ask now to welcome Kim Garth up onto the stage to collect the award on Emer's behalf.
Thanks.
No questions, Kim. We'll get you back next year. Thanks very much, Kim, and thanks very much, Steve and Toyota, for all of the support going into the support. Now, next up, we have the Hanley Energy Interprovincial Series Awards. Firstly, I'd like to call upon Michael Curran of Hanley Energy to come up and present the individual Hanley Energy Interpro Player of the Series Awards. Thank you, Michael. Now, the winners of these awards are Eddie Richardson in the 20-over trophy competition, Tyrone Kane in the 50-over cup, and Jacob Mulder in the 3-day championship. Unfortunately, Eddie and Jacob couldn't be here with us today, but I would like to ask the winner of the 50-over cup competition, player of the series, Tyrone Kane, to come up to the stage to collect his award. Thank you, Michael. Well done, Tyrone. Great performances throughout the summer. How special is it partway through to have the Interpros recognised as joining the first class roster of cricket tournaments?
It's absolutely fantastic. I think it's a testament to the work that goes on behind the scenes to actually get all the things in place to make sure we're able to get first class status, like coaches, grounds, all these things are done by volunteers. So fantastic to get there in the end, and looking forward to the season.
Does it feel as though you're part of that journey towards first class cricket, being sort of being a full part of what Ireland can look forward to, and does that does that really mean something to you guys as a team that are out there competing for it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I took part in the very first Interpro game since it's revamped. So to get here and get to the first class status and hopefully take part in the very first class game for Leinster Lighton will be something to look forward to, and a testament again to everybody who's worked hard, and some of the players who have fallen out of the team are retired. It's a great experience for them, and they've been part of the journey just like the players.
Great. And are you relaxing in the off season now? When are you back in to start winding up to go back and get that title again?
Not much relaxing, but plenty of studying, unfortunately. So just hitting the gym, and not like you can see it, but that's really it. Taking it easy for a month or so, and then back in now in January, and hopefully go for the season.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, Tyrone Kane representing the Interpros. Well done. And thank you very much to Michael, but we'll just ask him to come back again. We'll get those photographs. We'll get you two for the price of one, you see. So we're now going to move on to present this year's Interprovincial Series Player of the Year award. This year's Hanley Energy Interpro Series saw the Leinster Lightning complete a treble for the second year running, which is an incredible feat by any standards. There were many fine individual performances over the course of the season, as we've just recognised, but the shortlist was narrowed down to John Anderson of Leinster Lightning, Andy McBrien of Northwest Warriors, and George Dockrell, also of Leinster Lightning. He led his side from the front and was instrumental in his team completing the clean sweep, while also scoring heavily across all formats of the competition. A consummate professional who plays with pride and passion in equal measure, this year's Hanley Energy Interprovincial Series Player of the Year is John Anderson. Well done again, John. There you go. This feels like sort of Steven Spielberg at the Oscars, just coming up and collecting them again and again. Although he didn't, you have, so there you go. For the club, Marion, for the Interpros Leinster, how easy is it for you in your mind to sort of switch between the two, so that you're out there competing with a different group of players at a different level, perhaps?
Oh no, it's very easy, really. It's just another game of cricket. You prepare the same way, and it's great to be involved with the Leinster Lightning. It's such a great team that as captain, you really don't have to do a hell of a lot. You just you prepare the same, and you go out and play, really.
Great, and Tyrone was saying about the sort of that importance of stepping it up to first class status. Is that something that you thought might be coming down the line, or was it a pleasant surprise now for next year?
No, well, everyone's in Cricket Ireland's been doing so much hard work on trying to get that in place, and we've got a good journey on to Test cricket, and that's one of the the stepping stones that we need to have in place, and. It was. I think they've been working hard for a few years, and it wasn't too much of a surprise to me really when it got given, because I think all the grounds, all the quality of play and everything, I think is first class quality. So it's great, and really looking forward to next year.
Great, and can you come back and do it again next year now, 2 years in a row?
It'll be pretty tough to take the clean sweep again. I think. With it being first class status next year, I think the intensity will go up. I think the players, will take it a little bit more seriously, really, and it'll be tougher. We had a Leinster training session 2 weeks ago, so we're already kind of getting back into it, and we'll make sure no stones unturned when we're trying to get the clean sweep again next year.
Great, I'm sure that you will do exactly that, and wish you the very best of luck in it. So, ladies and gentlemen, John Anderson and Michael Curran from Hanley Energy. Now, next up is a very special award. It is the Gibney's Outstanding Contribution to Irish Cricket. And to present this award, will you please welcome Lorcan Gibney of Gibney's in Malahide up onto the stage. When I was a younger man, Lorcan's dad used to serve me pints of frothy ale in Gibney's, so I'm well used to the business and very much welcome you here on stage. Might see you back there later on. The recipient of this award has given years of service to the sport of cricket in Ireland, particularly in the area of administration. He's done fantastic work with various committees for Cricket Leinster over the years, and especially the time and effort that he put in on the Cricket Leinster website. As a player for Merrion Cricket Club, for whom in senior cricket he scored an incredible 7,183 runs, took 186 wickets and held 105 catches. He also played many times for South Leinster and he played for full Leinster teams. For Cricket Leinster, his service included that as President of the Union, as a member of the Executive and the Development Committees. His work in the development of and contributions to the Leinster Cricket Union's website and the development of the Union's strategic plans. For Cricket Ireland, Eddie served as a member of the Board of Directors for 4 years and was also a member and chair of the Match Allocation Group. An outstanding volunteer and a great man of Irish cricket, we are delighted to honour him today. This year's Gibney's Outstanding Contribution to Irish Cricket goes to Eddie Lewis. Congratulations, Eddie. Outstanding contribution. That has a nice ring to it.
It does. I'm a little bit embarrassed by it, but yeah, it does have a nice ring to it. I'm afraid, you know, as a volunteer, you don't do it for prizes or anything like that. But I hope that over the years I have managed to contribute something to it, and I'm certainly delighted at the award.
Absolutely. Well, I don't think there's any question that you've contributed over and well above anything that you might probably even imagine yourself. Administration is always a thankless task, but it does require great people to step forward so that the players can play, the coaches can coach, and the cricket fans can enjoy cricket. You're not going away anywhere soon now, are you? You're going to be still sticking with it and making sure that the website is updated, that the teams are ready and all of the rest?
No, I'm still going to be around. I think you have to really like committees. I think that's really the problem. Background as being a civil servant is probably quite useful in that regard. I think I must have served on just about every committee over the years. Yes, no, hopefully I will be staying around. We're in a very interesting period in Irish cricket. As Warren was saying earlier, the key thing now is we have to integrate cricket right the way through, from the Irish team right the way through to club cricket. I was in Cork yesterday, and on my way back I took a taxi, and as you do, you start talking to the taxi driver, and he was an Indian, and he didn't play any cricket, like obviously he was interested. Didn't play any cricket in Ireland, but he knew some of the clubs. But he had two young kids. One of them was 4 and one of them was younger than that. And one of them, the 4-year-old, had just come back from India, and he just got his first set of cricket gear and all the rest. And the ambition of the taxi driver, who was not connected with Irish cricket at all, was that his son would play cricket for Ireland. And I think integrating Irish cricket is not just about our clubs and all the rest we've talked about, but we have a massive resource in the Indian community and the Asian community in Ireland, people that don't have to be persuaded to play cricket. I've grown up coaching kids, and they wanted to play hockey, they wanted to play rugby, they wanted to play everything else. You were trying to persuade them to play cricket. Now we have, I hope, a second and third generation of Indian and other cricketers who really are there and want to play the game. If we can tap into that resource, maybe that is some of our future.
Great. I think that if if everybody that worked on committees was able to speak with such clarity and fluency as you, they would be more enjoyable places to go. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a very warm hand for Eddie Lewis. And thanks to Lorcan for the presentation of the award. God, you're blessed with some fine volunteers. While we're on the subject, the topic of outstanding contributions, I would like to take this opportunity to pay tribute to people who have made outstanding contributions to the international game, both on and off the field, who have moved on from their respective roles during the year. On the playing side, two stalwarts of the international side announced their retirement this year, Andrew Pointer and John Mooney, whose pride and passion in wearing the Irish shirt will always be remembered. We wish both Andrew and John all the very best for the future. And now we come to the Cricket Ireland Hall of Fame Award. Every year, the Cricket Writers of Ireland vote for the person that they would like to induct into the Cricket Ireland Hall of Fame. To present the award, please welcome the Cricket Writers Chairman, Ian Callender. It's a fine shake of a trophy there. The Cricket Writers of Ireland choice for the Cricket Ireland Hall of Fame this year is, in many people's opinion, our best ever wicket keeper. A Campbell College schoolboy, he played for Ulster schools and Irish schools before making his senior interprovincial debut for Ulster Town in 1978. He was an ever-present for the next 15 seasons. At club level, he played for 3 teams, but only one club, North of Ireland, Belfast Harlequins and Civil Service North, and was a member of the team which won the first Irish Cup final in 1982. By that time, he was already an Ireland international, making his debut against Canada at Ormeau, his home ground. From 1981 to 1984, he played in 87 matches, a total which would have been much higher but for recurring injuries. In that time, he held 103 catches and 30 stumpings, placing him at the time second in the list of Ireland's all-time wicket-keepers behind Ozzie Colquhoun, already a member of the Hall of Fame. His top score for Ireland was 89 not out, stranded 11 short of his century when he ran out of partners against Wales in Welshpool in 1987. Shame on you, teammates. That was one of the 25 games in which he was Ireland captain. Joining a distinguished list of celebrated cricketing legends, ladies and gentlemen, this year's Cricket Ireland Hall of Fame inductee is Paul Jackson. Congratulations, Paul. 89. Can you still remember the last 3 that were in that stopped you from getting to the century?
Well, I can remember 2 of them, John Elder. I can't remember the other 2, but yes, it seems an awfully long time ago. But yes, it was the one opportunity I had. I think there weren't too many of them, but anyway.
John must have really gone for the crazy shot then that his name is.
He did.
Wonderful career. Great to be recognising you today now. How has the game changed back from those days in 1978? You know, it has developed so much, and in a sport of such great traditions, that can sometimes be challenging. But how do you feel now, looking back on those years playing and subsequent?
Well, it's certainly very different. The big thing, I think, now is the levels of fitness and the infrastructure in the game that has taken the youngsters right through to the top levels of Irish cricket. I think it's fantastic what they've done, and a credit to everybody here, the work that's gone into that. In our day, yes, there was a structure there, but it wasn't as strong, and I think we were just very fortunate and blessed to play at that level on an amateur basis, you know. But it's been a very exciting journey, and a real honour for me to have been part of that journey. For Cricket Ireland, going back to '94 in the ICC Trophy, I think just to be a tiny part of that and to see where Irish cricket has gone, I think it's really humbling, and I'm just so proud to have played a tiny part in it, you know.
Great. Will you be heading over to Lords now next year for the England game?
I would hate to miss that now. And again, so exciting times for Cricket Ireland. And I just hope the people here go on that journey and continue on it and enjoy every minute of it, because I must say I was very fortunate to have enjoyed every second of it. So.
Well, it's always the people that have sort of built the foundations that the palaces are created on, and you've obviously been a big part in those foundations. So, Paul, congratulations again. Thank you. And thank you very much to Ian and to the cricket writers for putting forward such an honourable nominee. We move on now to one of the most anticipated awards of the afternoon, the Tildenet Club of the Year. And to present this award, please welcome to the stage George Bassett of Tildenet. Now, the shortlist for Club of the Year was narrowed down to the following: Ardmore, County Kerry, Laois, Ballyspallin, Ring Commons, Cork County, Fox Lodge and Clontarf. Imagine what the long list must have been like. After what was a superb season for this Munster club that saw, in addition to their Leinster side winning the Leinster Division 2 title and returning to the top tier of the Leinster Leagues, they also retained their Munster Division 1 crown. So the winner of the Tildenet Club of the Year is Cork County Cricket Club. And to collect the award on behalf of his club, please welcome Munster Cricket Union Chairman David Griffin and Club President Kieran Ahern. Now, congratulations, gentlemen. Love those threads.
Absolutely, we decided to reinstate the original Cork County blazer, which was, barring one, all burnt in the Great Fire in 1918. So this goes back to the foundation of the club.
Very good. When did you decide to do this?
About 5 years ago.
Okay, great idea, and the traditions, and certainly you wouldn't be missed anyway. Obviously, it was a great year for Cork County. What were the highlights?
I suppose winning 9 on the trot to pull off the Leinster title, and winning 3 in 10 days at the end of the season when we had a really tight programme. That was really special for us. And also, obviously, winning in Munster, which is very important to us all the time.
And the players and the coaches and the backroom team there, it's obviously a good, strong group that you've got.
Well, back at the table there, Andy Wooten is our club coach, and he had a lot to do with pushing us on this year. So congratulations to him and all the squad.
Great. And indeed, congratulations to everybody at the club, to our Cricket Ireland Club of the Year, to Cork County. Well done. Congratulations, gentlemen. Thanks very much to George and to Kieran and all of the Cork County team. The next award is the Angus Fanning Emerging Player of the Year, which is sponsored by our media partner for these awards, the Sunday Independent. To present this award, please welcome Cormac Burke, editor of the Sunday Independent. Thanks, Cormac. This award was voted for by members of the international senior men's and women's teams and coaching and support staff, who chose the emerging player who they felt had made the most impact since breaking into the international scene. The nominations for this category are Jennifer Gray, Barry McCarthy and Robin Lewis. Making his debut for Ireland during the summer, which kind of gives it away, he has already taken 18 one-day international wickets at an average of 20 at a strike rate of just under 20, with best figures of 4 for 49 against Afghanistan, and, in addition, has cemented his place in the squad at Durham County Cricket Club. The winner of the Angus Fanning Emerging Player of the Year award is Barry McCarthy. Congratulations, Barry. Great honour, emerging right at the beginning of this next stage of what will be a long and illustrious career. Did it feel like that through the year? Did you feel as though the progress that you were making was strong enough to really sort of put you in contention for just such an award?
Yeah, no, obviously, as every cricketer knows, the season is very, all the games come on quick and fast. So, you know, I managed to have a decent start to the summer over at Durham, and on the back of that, I managed to make my debut, which came on quick and fast.
Great. Did it take time to settle in over there, or is it it's a lovely city, wonderful cricket ground as well. Did they make you feel very welcome?
Yes, yeah, great bunch of lads, to be honest. I was lucky enough to have Stuart Pointer over there as well, he's obviously been over there for a few years previously, so it was nice to introduce me to all the lads, and a great bunch of lads, and they all look after me when I need to.
Great, excellent. And big year ahead now for Ireland. Fancy your chances of getting into that team for Lords?
Yeah, I'd love to play at Lords, to be honest. I had the opportunity once of taking the field in an Ireland A game, but after 6 overs it was washed out, so hopefully I can be in the squad this time and get out and have a wonderful day and have a win at Lords.
Great, excellent. Well, it's always one of the most heartening and encouraging awards. Emerging Player of the Year, Barry McCarthy. Congratulations. And thanks very much to Cormac. The award named in memory of Angus Fanning, a great supporter of Irish cricket and a titan of Irish journalism. Just to let you know that the Sunday Independent will have their usual review of these awards in this Sunday's issue, so make sure to pick up a copy or two. We're looking forward to lots of great coverage. Now, we're going to take a short break from the awards, and I'd like to call to the stage the Ireland Women's Senior Coach, Aaron Hamilton, for a few words. I promise, Aaron, it will just be a few. Now, I had the pleasure of sitting beside you at lunch. It would have been much easier to interview you sitting down, because then I wouldn't have had to stretch my hand as much as I am going to have. You've been here now for 18 months in charge of the women's team and really sort of becoming immersed in Irish cricket. How has it been for you over that period of time? What are we like as a nation?
Yeah, you're not too bad. You're not too bad. Nah, look, mate, I'm really lucky. I said to you before, I've probably got one of the best jobs in the world, to be honest with you. I've got a great bunch of players to work with day in, day out. I've got a range of players from 15 years old, watching them on the start of their journey, to players that are a little bit more mature, say, at the top end of 30, and trying to navigate them to the next phase of their career and to dominate probably a better opposition than they did prior. So that's what we've sort of been focused on the last 18 months, is taking all those little bits and pieces around the group and trying to get them going in one direction.
Great, and you have the delightful prospect of qualification tournament now to play in the World Cup, just across the water in the course of next year. How big of a sort of a mark will that be for this team of young and not so young players?
Yeah, I think it'd be massive. Personally, I think it's probably be the biggest challenge this coming qualifier tournament in Sri Lanka that our group's going to face and have faced. Because it's a big ask to go across there in those conditions and qualify. The bottom four from the Women's Cricket League come down to play, and then the top four out of that go to the World Cup, which is in England. So it'll be a massive effort for our girls to get on that and to play in England, where a lot of the home fans can come over and watch. So it'll be massive.
Great. We spoke to Herbie earlier on about that sort of prospect of encouraging more young girls to actually come into the sport. Women's sport in general is on the rise. We've got the Women's Rugby World Cup being staged here in Ireland, in Dublin and Belfast next year. And if you were to make it through to the World Cup, it would put the women's cricket team onto a whole other stratosphere as well. How important is it, do you think, to bring people into the game at an early stage? And can you see the improvement that you'll be able to bring from players that are coming in at a higher level, having been sort of well coached and well brought forward from perhaps a younger age?
Yeah, I think it's massive, especially in the women's game. You find across the board that they tend to come in a lot later, so they're learning their skills a lot later. So by the time they come to our level, effectively we're teaching them their basic fundamental skills. So As you saw today with Rob getting Coach of the Year, we've got a wonderful system underneath and it's growing all the time. And I'm a big believer of having good level coaches with the younger ones so they learn all that. And then by the time they get up to me, then we can polish them off and take them in a further direction to where they've been. At the moment, we've got a lot of young players in our squad and they've been charged with learning their skills at an international level. Most other countries, I suppose, they've got state, provincial leagues to where they can learn their craft and then they come and show the world what they got. But at the moment, we've got some players that are in this room tonight that are learning their craft on the way at the best level possible.
Great. Warren announced earlier as well the fact that you're going to have the National Performance Centre going in over in the National Sports Campus. Will that be a big boost in terms of being able to get the team together a little bit more consistently, perhaps?
Yeah, it will be. I mean, we're fortunate. We've been at YM for the last 3-4 years. I think the girls have been there even before I turned up, and that's a great facility. And the club and Dale, the groundsman, look after us extremely well and allow us to prepare the best we can for any tournament with centre wickets and nets and whatnot. So, but it will be good to have a place where we can sort of call our home and everyone will be there with other elite athletes as well, where they can see what other sports do as well as just what our guys do. Effectively, because all they've done is just gone from tournament to tournament, having to prepare for that. So we got their bodies back into shape and hopefully they'll go forward there.
Great. I'm glad you said it was up in the air. I could see Kim and Kira there sort of thinking, oh God, we're not going to have to go by boat.
Yeah, well, we'll never know. We'll see what happens.
Depends on how well they do in the gym.
Well, that's pretty much it, mate. Yeah. So.
Great. And your own sort of personal feeling here in Ireland now, as I say, 18 months. You enjoying it?
Yeah, I am. If you could, heat it up a bit, it would be good. But no, it's a great place. The people are great. As I said, I've been just over 18 months now, and everyone's made me feel really welcome, and my family and that. And the girls are great all the way through.
Well, we've had a lot of blue skies recently, and looking at Emer's interview there, it's a bit windy down in New Zealand as well. I know New Zealand isn't Australia and all the rest, but great stuff. Well, listen, the very best of luck to you and to all of the team down in Sri Lanka, and touch wood, hopefully in England in the summer as well. I know that the ECB putting a huge amount of store into promoting the women's game and the women's tournaments now for 2017. So hopefully Ireland will be there very much as a big, strong part of that. So, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Hamilton and the rest of the Irish women's team that he represents. Now, we're down to the last two remaining awards of the afternoon. The cricketshop.ie Senior Women's International Player of the Year and the KPC Group Senior Men's Player of the Year. Just to give you a little more information on cricketshop.ie, it is the official store of Cricket Ireland. It was set up in 2016 as a joint venture between O'Neill's and Cricket Ireland with the objective of providing high quality and affordable cricket equipment and kit to players, coaches, clubs, schools and supporters, and even occasionally Taverners players as well. I'm delighted to welcome Christine O'Donnell, Sales Manager with O'Neill's, on stage to present the first of these prestigious awards, the Senior Women's International Player of the Year. Now, the Ireland women's team had a very successful year in 2016 with the World T20 qualifier in Thailand, as well as scoring historic wins in both the one-day international and T20 formats against South Africa, and also a T20 win against Bangladesh. The shortlist of nominees was based on players' season statistics, with the ultimate winner being chosen by the international women's squad themselves and support staff. The nominees are Kim Garth, Isabel Joyce, and Kira Metcalfe. And this leg spinner from the Hills Cricket Club played a pivotal role in Ireland's Women's World T20 in India earlier this year, with 6 wickets in her 4 matches and the second best bowling figures in a match in the tournament of 4 for 15. She also demonstrated coolness under pressure and maintained that consistency of form in the international series against South Africa and Bangladesh. And beyond the mere statistics, her tireless work to promote the sport of women's cricket with hairy and brains cannot go unrecognised, and it cannot be ignored. Honestly, it cannot be ignored. It is with tremendous pleasure and no doubt the support of the room that I announce that the winner of this year's CricketShop.ie Women's International Player of the Year is none other than Ciara Metcalf. Congratulations, you. I've had the pleasure of knowing Ciara a little bit over the last couple of years, and the progress that you have made in terms of your personal development, your cricket development, and your online profile has to be said. It has been astonishing. It has been some year. Have you enjoyed it?
I loved every minute of it. I was asked to come back 18 months ago, May, and it was going to be a tall order for me to get fit and try to get back into the team, but I worked hard with Aaron and the guys, and it's been a wonderful time, yeah.
Great. And your influence is not only in terms of the statistics, but I hear from various people that your role in the dressing room, and particularly with the young players coming through, is immeasurable. Is that an important part of it, or do you see that even as part of a role? Is it just something that comes naturally to you?
I think a bit of both. I suppose I've been around a long time.
Not that long.
So I've a lot of friends on the team, and I suppose the young guys coming through as well, and there's a lot of talent there, and I think just passing on the experience and helping them, making them feel welcome when they come to the gym, I think if I can make them welcome and we can welcome them into the team, they'll perform better and grow into their role.
Hairy and brains. Where did that idea come from?
When we were going to India last year, we said we'd bring a selfie stick and we'd kind of just video our time when we were there, and so that's literally where it's come from. Talking crap with Claire, literally. It's what we do at home, having a cup of tea, so why not do it in front of a selfie stick or, letting people see it. So.
What are your numbers like? Have you seen how many people have viewed it now on YouTube or anything?
Yeah, no, a lot of people have, but I think it could be a little sympathy, check in and then they're gone. I don't know how long they stay for, but...
So when you say a lot, what are the latest numbers?
I don't know, I haven't checked.
Okay. There's a lot of zeros on the end of it, though. Yeah, there is. And the quality of it is great. It brings a smile to my face. I'm sure it brings a moment of dread and terror to some of your teammates and some of those who know you. Is that right, Kim? You're going to carry it on through Sri Lanka, do you hope? If, of course, you make the team.
That's one thing, but yeah, definitely, and we'll pass it on then, because I believe there's a mini Hairy and Brains coming through, so they've big shoes to fill, really big, but we'll see.
This is how Netflix started. Yeah, a 20-year overnight success, and you're just going to do it in 2 years. So you've already got the path mapped out now that you'll carry through. You'll qualify for the World Cup, you'll win the World Cup, and then you'll retire to become a media mogul.
Oh no, I'm not retiring then. No.
Part-time media mogul and part-time CricketShop.ie Ireland Senior Women's International Cricketer of the Year, Ciara Metcalf. And thank you to Christine and to O'Neill's for supporting the award and for making it so much easier to get that cricket gear. Now, we have our final award presentation of the day. It's the KPC International Men's Player of the Year. I'm delighted to welcome to the stage the Cricket Ireland Chairman, Ross McCollum. Welcome, Ross. It has been a very significant 12 months for the Ireland men's side. More international fixtures than ever before. They sit with maximum points atop the Intercontinental Cup table with 4 wins from 4 games. Got to win the most important matches, lads. That's the key to success. And there were home fixtures against Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan and Hong Kong. Throughout the year, there were a host of players that performed incredibly well, but the short list of nominees selected by their peers is Ed Joyce, Kevin O'Brien, and Tim Murtagh. Now, this player scored 804 runs at a 61.85 average in the qualification period from October 2015 to September 2016. Rallying from a controversial run out against Afghanistan, more of which may be anon, this left-hander returned for a man-of-the-match 160 in the final match of the ODI series against the same opponents. A previous winner of this award, not once but twice in 2013 and again last year, this year's winner of the KPC Men's International Player of the Year is none other than Ed Joyce. I think he's kind of Thank you, Ross. You're such a gentleman that you did offer to step down off of the stage to meet you part way, but I said no. John Bracewell told me that he has to get the work put in, so yeah, make him climb those steps. So tell us, how has it gone? We're guessing that you've had the operation.
No, it's next week. No, it was last Friday. It seems to have gone well. I've got no pain or anything like that, so the surgeon thinks it went well, so hopefully it's a quick recovery and back in time for the Afghanistan series in March, hopefully.
Great. How long will it be of no activity now?
It's 2 or 3 weeks, keeping the weight off the knee, and then get back into it. You know, so at the moment we're having a lot of work done in our house, but I'm only allowed to watch TV, so other people are having to do all the work.
Tough timing. Well done. I mentioned there in the intro that Afghanistan 160, brilliant performance. What was it that kind of gave you the motivation to go out there and do that?
Well, obviously we were down in the series, so we needed to win that last game, and you know, it had been a very, tempestuous series up till then. You know, the Afghans play the game in an interesting manner, but you know, they play it hard. You know, and in general they play it fair, and they're a very good team, and you know, I think they've sort of overtaken us a little bit in lots of ways, and we've got to try and catch them back up, you know. So we wanted to come out of that series with a draw, and you know, felt obviously we haven't got as many senior players as we used to, and we've got a lot of young guys coming into the team, and we need to support them back up. And you know, obviously, it felt like I needed to put in a big performance in that game, and thankfully it worked out. And silver lining, I didn't have to field in the second innings as well because I pulled a hamstring. So you know, getting runs and not fielding is ideal.
Great. The injuries, you know, you've had a good, illustrious career. Are the injuries, do you find them harder to recover from now? I remember talking to some of the senior rugby players, and they would always feel that they could bounce back from injury so much quicker when they were young and cared not a jot about it. I'm not saying you're old, but does it get that little bit harder to just sort of fix the body again after an injury?
Well, I've only had one bad injury before, and that was a hip 8 years ago, and it came back fine from that. So I'm hopeful about this. You know, as I said, there's no pain, and the swelling's gone completely down, and the surgeon's very hopeful. So you know, I'd love to make a full recovery, and you've got that goal to Test cricket in a few years, hopefully. But in the short term and medium term, we've got lots of white ball cricket coming up, and we need to perform well in that. I want to be part of that as well. So. As I said, it's a testing time for the team as well, because we've lost so many senior players, and we've got lots of talented youngsters coming in, and got to try and knit ourselves into being a good team.
And looking at it from your position at that elite end of cricket, the granting of the first class status for the Interpros here, do you see that as being an important element in terms of developing that sort of next half a generation that'll be there to support you?
Yeah, I do. I think it's incredibly important. You know, you want things every year to be sort of going on the up and up, and while, you know, the women have played brilliantly this year, we haven't played so well. But things like that keep everyone motivated and keep everyone going in the right direction. I think that was a huge bonus for us this year. You know, I was slightly surprised we got it as early as we did. Not to say that the cricket isn't good enough, just that it's been a fairly short time to get it. I think that's as Tyrone said earlier, I think it's a testament to the work that's been done behind the scenes to get to that point. I think it's important now that the 3 teams that are currently involved in the 3-day competition really up their game, up their fitness levels and up the professionalism to try and live up to first class cricket, because it's important that we do first class cricket credit, and I think that the talent is there, and I think we need to just work hard to do that.
Now, England at Lords, an attractive proposition for somebody who has represented both countries. This year was just sort of, giving them the sense that Ireland weren't actually as good as they've previously been, because Ireland have caused a few problems for England in the past, haven't they?
For sure, I think we should have beaten them a few times at home, and, it's that World Cup where Kevin O'Brien got his brilliant 100.
Who was that?
We've beaten them once, we know we can do it. We've got great motivation. We've got another game in Bristol, so 2 huge ODIs in there in the middle of a very important month of May. So, really looking forward to it. As I said, it's great to have something to look forward to and aim for, and an ODI against England at Lords is just about the best thing you can look forward to.
When you're sitting at home with your feet up, are you watching any of the England series going on over the other side of the world at the moment?
I've watched a little bit yet. Looks interesting. I just watch it from a spectator's point of view. More interested in how we're going about our stuff. So hopefully we have a big year next year.
Great. Well, the very best of luck. Ed, 2013, 2015 and now 2016, an illustrious career to date. Plenty more to come. Good luck with the recovery from the injury. Ladies and gentlemen, your Cricketer of the Year, Ed Joyce. Now, and thank you to Ross for presenting that on behalf of KPC, and thank you to KPC Group for coming on board this year in such fine fashion to support all of the good work that is being done at volunteer level, at players, coaches and the administration team up there in Clonshock. Congratulations again to all of our winners today. We're all looking forward to what is bound to be another memorable year for Irish cricket in 2017. We will beat England at Lords. We will qualify for the Women's World Cup, and we will continue the path of Irish cricket as being that it has been on over the last couple of years. We have got an important Intercontinental Cup game in India against Afghanistan in March, which we hope will be another step along the road to Test cricket for the men's side. And we've got those 2 historic one-day internationals away in England at Bristol and then at Lords, before we face Bangladesh and New Zealand in the Tri-Series in May. The women's team have the World Cup qualifying tournament to be held in Sri Lanka in February 2017. We wish them and you all of the very best in that tournament. Now that brings to an end almost today's awards presentation. A big thank you to our awards sponsor, the KPC Group. We'd also like to thank the Sunday Independent, our media partner for this event, as well as all our sponsors for their continued support of Cricket Ireland. Your support is invaluable, and for that we are hugely grateful. Finally, the new Cricket Ireland Annual is hot off the press, literally, actually, hot off the press. And there's only a limited number of them, so we've only got 1 per table. So you might want to do... I'm only joking. We have 1 for everyone in the audience. So please be sure to collect them from the table here on your way out. Please feel free to stay on, avail of the bar if you so wish. Continue to reminisce and enjoy the memories of cricketing year and cricketing years gone by. One final piece of housekeeping now, just before I ask for a massive round of applause for them all, could I ask today's award winners to join me on stage right away for 1 group photo. I've had a fantastic time here today. That was the reason why I went out there and played my cricket debut. I'm going to come back again because I want Ed Joyce's award next year. And I'm confident that I will come, well, maybe not quite so close. I really do look forward to seeing you all in the busy season ahead. And I look forward to my invitation to Lords coming through in the post very shortly. That is going to be some day. Sri Lanka might be a stretch, particularly if you're bringing them on the boat, Aaron, but I'll hold on. I'll be back at Lords for the final of the Women's World Cup later on in the year as well. Ladies and gentlemen, if we could have the award winners back on the stage, and as they join us, give them a very, very warm Irish round of applause. Thank you very much.